Guys, I'm just fucking tired. Ugh. I'm just tired of the most retarded people somehow having the rights to run the entire fucking world economy. I can't do this shit anymore. It's too stupid. Like, I don't really think there's anything more that needs to be said. People still talking about buying games. Who the fuck buys new games in 2025 anyways? Just don't buy the video games. How about that? Some do, not me. It's better to just wait 6 months and they'll be discounted already. Not if you're playing on a fucking Nintendo console, but again, that's you asking for it yourself. You're doing it to yourself if you do that, so... Nintendo is like Apple, but for consoles? Yeah, that seems about right. Underpowered, subpar product that the people fucking love if they're one of the members of the cult. And no matter how much you try and tell them that they can do better in life, they're not gonna, you know, buy something else, so... Compared to Apple, Nintendo actually delivers stuff with relative quality for its price? No. As someone who owned Nintendo consoles in the past, I'm just gonna say no on that one. The average Nintendo game that they sell for like $90 for the Switch 2 has about, I don't know, 10 hours of game time at most. We're talking about like whatever Kirby game or whatever Princess Peach game and shit. The truth is Nintendo sells toys for children, except we have lots of man children that aren't willing to realize that because it hurts their feelings. Xbox is gone, Sony is being Sony, only other option besides Nintendo is being in indie slop. I mean, they're not gone, they've just become a unified platform between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC are just the same platform now. And their architectures are similar enough that everything is just going to get ported. It's not gone, there's just no difference between the two. So all the PC players who are like, oh my god, I can't believe you're shoehorning yourself into a console, are just, they probably haven't seen what games are on a console because it's the exact same games that are on Steam. There's no real difference. There are no exclusives anymore. Except on Nintendo, except their exclusives are all first-party games that aren't particularly good. See if I can use this, the tool for this one. No. Suck my cock! This shit sucks so bad. Everyone who's like, oh, you're not using all the computer tools in Clip Studio Paint. It's just like, suck my dick. You obviously aren't drawing any kind of picture with more than 3 lines, you stupid fucking cucks. People would rather wait for Steam and Game Pass to play on PC than get a PS5 at this point. PS5 is like the best-selling PlayStation since whatever. All the people saying like, this isn't, people don't buy this, don't actually look at sales numbers and shit. Whatever shit you're talking about on the internet isn't the reality. There's a million normies who have a PS5 so they can play NBA 2K for 1 million hours. He is angry and tired today. I was just like, whatever. And then when I saw that Trump has canceled his fucking tariffs before they even fucking hit, I was just like, I can't do this shit anymore. I can't live in this world where the most retarded of our population somehow gets to continue making decisions. I knew that Trump was like really sensitive to market numbers and stuff, but I thought that he would at least last long enough to get to the point where we actually saw the increase in prices and there was like a fucking recession or something. I didn't think he'd actually cave about his own fucking policy before he was even able to implement it. It's just such a high level of stupidity. I can't even fucking do this shit anymore. He's just doing a little bit of market manipulation. Nothing wrong with that. I will never ever claim that Trump is doing anything calculated at this point. Everybody who's like, no, it's a genius move. He's it's part of the negotiations, or everyone who's like, no, he's just being evil, guys. Don't worry. It's just the capitalists and of Trump's friends being evil. They're really just doing this so they can, pump the stock market and make billions of dollars. It's like, no, actually it's much worse than that. They're just retarded. It's not that complicated. They're literally just retarded, and if you think anything else, then you're overestimating all of these people. I was actually hoping that we would have a massive, extremely painful economic recession in which everything cost a shit ton of money and nobody could buy anything for at least a few months. And then for maybe once in the entire lifetime, all the retarded red state voters could realize that the people that they are voting for are not good for them. Or maybe like even if 5% of red state voters would be able to figure out that the shit they are voting for is a bad idea, or at least be forced to suffer for it, then something might have good have come out of this, but not even that is going to happen. So instead they're going to be like, this is a huge win. It's like, no, it's not. Oh, it's all so tiring. D&D 5e or 2024? What is 2024? Some new version of D&D. Honestly, I don't give a fuck at this point because I'm not going to play D&D with other people because I don't want to spend time with other people at this point. I thought it was pretty funny about all the Trump MAGA tards on Twitter being like, trust the plan. We just need to hold, even if there's short-term market disruption, we just need to wait until all the companies build factories in America in the next 3 months. It was just like, holy shit, these people are delusional. Remember when red state voters had a brief period in which they were asked to wear face masks so they wouldn't die of an infectious disease, and they all fucking lost their mind? These people are not very good at, withstanding pain and suffering, so it would have been extremely entertaining to watch the cope as their fucking iPhone costs $7,000, which it still might if the China tariffs aren't removed, unless China's gonna figure out a way to switch production to Vietnam or something like that. I don't know. I hate trying to figure out how to do black and white drawings of things that were designed to be in color. Because there's all these really big areas that you can't just be like, this is a full black area. I just drew an image of Goku and it was extremely easy to draw because Goku is meant to be drawn in black and white. You just draw it. And suddenly when I'm drawing all this shit like video game characters, I should just be like, I'm not going to draw any anime characters or video game characters. I'm only going to draw black and white manga characters going forward. And just be like, fucking deal with it, bitch. Just color them? No, because I have to figure out how to do black and white grayscale type stuff in order to get good at drawing manga style pictures, so I can't be like relying on color. People think that color is just like a more complete version of black and white, and it's not. If you ask people that always draw in color to suddenly draw a finished picture in black and white, they can't do it because they're not used to the color balance of black and white and how much blacks they need to use and how much grays they need to use, etc. It's a different skill set. Why not put the OG design through a black and white filter and color pick from there? You don't understand. That's not how that shit works, dude. Then you just get a bunch of grays, okay? When you're drawing in black and white, you need to have a balance with full blacks, like 100% blacks that I'm drawing right here, some grays and some whites, and then you need to create some grays using a combination of hatching, like here with the hatching and details, and some using like actual grays or screen tones if this is a manga and you have to publish it. You can't just be like, oh, just take the fucking color tone. That's not how that shit works. Here, let me show you in a way that's easier to understand so that your small, non-artistic brains can understand what's going on. Here's an image from the GOAT artist, Murata. No grays here except here. See, you always add a little bit of grays. You have hard blacks and then whites. So, but just looking at a normal page, right? You need to have like some amount of complete blacks. Murata says he determines, it's called beta in Japanese manga lingo, but like full blacks in which you just fully color it in. If you don't have it, the page kind of looks unfinished and empty. Murata says he uses Toriyama's Dragon Ball blacks to balance his blacks, and then you need like full whites, and then you need like areas that are gray. And drawing shit in is also gray as well. And here's an example that I would consider to be a bad example. Here, This isn't even a full page. But, look how much fucking gray there is. They're trying to put in blacks, but, there's not enough white. They shouldn't have used full gray for the background as well. The gray of the background is merging with the gray of the character's hair, which was probably a bad idea to give all the characters gray hair in the first place. But this is a very common problem in other... this is a really good example right here. There's just way too much gray. It's not even that bad, but... they probably didn't need to put in the gray on the desks and stuff, or the bags and stuff like that. I was just reading the end part of the Quintessential Quintuplets manga, and in the later pages, there's just like pages where the entire page is gray. And this is a common problem in manga authors that have enough assistants that they can just fill shit up with gray. Did I join into a non-artist giving Baal art advice? Yes. As usual. This is just balance and values? Yeah. In manga, you need to have a certain balance. And the hardest part that I'm struggling, because I didn't do like properly finished drawings until recently, is making sure I have enough hard blacks, like this area here. And it's much easier to do it if I'm drawing characters that were originally meant to be drawn as manga characters, or my own characters, because then I can adjust that stuff on my own. No, that's no Taizai readers were punished for their good artwork by having horrendous animation. There are very few people who are as good artists as Suzuki Nakaba is, and it's almost impossible to do that in animation. And it kind of looks like shit, honestly, when it's colored. Suzuki Nakaba, his artwork is extremely dependent on him drawing a million details. So when I have original character design like this, where they have a huge black area, I'm like, how am I going to do that? And usually there are different ways to handle that in manga, but usually the way to do it is you just put it in, make it gray, and then you add shadows that are full black. You could also try and do it full black, just like the entire thing full black. But then you don't have any kind of sense of like the shape of that item. Toriyama would do that. He would just like make things go full black. I will also say that another example that I think is just like a bad example is these where Kishimoto would do the Akatsuki cloaks in Naruto, and he was just like, I'm gonna make them full black. And it doesn't look like it's a big problem here because it's a single panel, but because he determined that he was just gonna make them full black all the time, regardless of the situation, there was some, if there was a close-up of one of these full black, like, see, even the pants are black. That's too much black. not only would it be too heavy just like on the computer screen, but it was a literal printing issue. If you go to some of the tankobon book volumes of Naruto, where Akatsuki characters show up with their full black cloaks, you'll actually see misprints where the ink is bleeding into the white areas because it's too much hard black. And he would have like these thin white lines next to these really large areas of black, and the printing press actually wouldn't be able to handle it. So I've always remembered that as something that you can't actually get away with. You can't do it because I guess there's just too much ink, and the ink sort of bleeds into the white areas. Like you could actually see the literal bleed of the ink. It's very interesting. I haven't seen it happen in other manga. I've only seen it happen in Naruto. So the reason why Murata is like, I use Dragon Ball pages. I wonder if you can even see it's almost impossible to just get a Dragon Ball manga page online, or at least a specific one. Oh, you can see Super, because of course you can fucking see Super. But this is a pretty good example of Toriyama's just sort of inherent ability to balance grays, which he's doing it with hatching. He has very little grays, but he does grays by drawing a small amount of detail. And for example, Piccolo's arms are gray by him adding the vertical lines and stuff, or the hatching on the trees and stuff. But besides that, you make sure you get these nice chunks of hard black with Goku's hair, Goku's shirt, Goku's belt, the hands, and the boots. It's not like a huge area. It's always like small, relatively small areas. But it causes the page to pop in a very nice way. That's why Murata is like, I base my color balance off of Dragon Ball and stuff. If you look at the hard black amounts, it's very similar to Dragon Ball. Uses some on the gloves, some in the boots. Selective amounts. But if, say, instead of making this entire pant leg fully black, he put some gray in it. Also note that in Toriyama's time, it wasn't digital, which meant that if you wanted gray areas like I'm doing right now, you would have to paste a sheet of these dot paper by hand and then like scrape it out using box cutters, which was always a huge pain in the ass. But now that things are in digital, it's way easier to add gray areas, which is why you see digital artists often overuse gray, because there isn't the time penalty that there used to be. So scared of cutting the page. There's actually a ton of shit like cutting pages, pasting new pieces of paper onto pages, etc., that classic analog manga artists do that they could get away with. They would all use a bunch of whiteout. They would use, if something went really bad, like you can fix stuff with whiteout, but you can only fix it like once or twice, because like the whiteout would start to get too thick. So if you really started to fuck up, you would just like take another sheet of paper and paste it on top of that paper if you really had to redo it, or just redo the entire page, of course. But there was a lot of like cutting and pasting tricks that you used to be able to do, or you used to have to do, not able to do, when you were still working in analog, that we don't have to do anymore because we're all using the crutch of digital. Slight coochie exposed. Let's fucking go. That's a bikini. It's perfectly fine to show your vagina covered with a bikini, but if you have a skirt, somehow it's a big deal. People are over-reliant on Control-Z. I mean, I am. I spam the shit out of Control-Z, but I don't feel bad about that. I don't really care too much about the process as long as the result looks good, so it doesn't really mind. It doesn't bother me if I completely just smash Control-Z a million times, but... Here. If you want to see someone that doesn't use Control-Z, I was thinking about this guy because he's 77 and he started a new series in Young Jump, just like the same place where Murata was drawing, and I found that he was drawing something new at 77. Some sort of historical fiction thing. See, he's actually doing some amount of rough draft, although you can't see shit. But that's enough rough drafting. Pull out the fucking marker. Who could that be? Who could that be? This isn't that hard because he's probably drawn Char like 10 billion times. But I'm trying to find the one in which there was a video of him just straight up drawing his finished manga without, instead of like something that he was signing. But these, if you look at animators and stuff, yeah, I can't find it. I should have saved it. I was trying to find one in which he was just straight up drawing it without with basically zero rough draft and stuff, which I've seen them do. They're just like, yeah, I can do it. A better thing to look at is Murata has, there's a shit ton of Murata videos of him inking and doing pencil stuff online. And you'll see that there's plenty of situations in which he doesn't like something and he just redoes it. Or he's like, oh, that was a mistake, and he just redoes it. So you don't have to be like, no, if I want to be a pro, if I want to be good, I just have to do everything on the first try. Because it's not true. I mean, that's probably why Murata has fucking erased all the progress he made on the latest arc of One Punch Man twice. Is because he's just like, meh, I'll just redo it. So it's not all good things. In some ways, maybe Toriyama's mentality where he's like, I don't like work, I want to play video games and build plastic models, was a better mentality, because you know that Toriyama isn't going to go back and like try and redo all of his story and stuff because he feel like he wrote himself into a corner or anything like that, because he don't give a fuck. Have you ever tried to stop gooning? Not really. I don't think it's good for you to not masturbate. I think it's bad. There's studies that show that you have like a 20% lower prostate cancer risk if you masturbate frequently. So I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. I mean, if you told someone that you're just gonna stop shitting, people would be like, that's probably a bad idea, dude. You're like, why? I'll just let the shit build up inside me. Like, I know that your semen gets reabsorbed into your balls, but it's something that's supposed to come out. So you should probably, you know, keep it coming out on regular intervals. How's your prostate doing? No lie, I'm getting to that age in which I start to have to get prostate exams in like 5 years or so. I guess like 7 years. I can't remember what age in which they're like, you need to, now is when you have to start getting prostate exams, but it's approaching soon. Are your hemorrhoids okay? Not really. I need to get them fixed, but I haven't done it yet. There are some things that help, but they don't ever actually go away, so at this point I guess I have to go and get them like removed with whatever method. There's a lot of different methods in which you can remove hemorrhoids. So I'm gonna have to go to a proctologist or whatever. I changed my health insurance specifically because I was like, I'm gonna have to get these hemorrhoids dealt with, possibly medically this year or so. I have been delaying my grooming by delving deeper into AI roleplays. I have created 2 different stories where I forced the bunny hero Mirko to be my girlfriend, and by girlfriend I mean chain her up in a room. I was using Grok a lot for various sex roleplay, but I basically did so much that I exhausted all the scenarios I wanted to do, and now I'm just like, I don't care anymore, which I think is what is going to happen to anybody who uses AI long enough. AI really can't produce something on its own. You can tell it what to do, but eventually you run out of things that you want to do. So it can't ever actually like be a replacement for other people's fiction, you know? You always have to give it some kind of input. And if you don't, then you're just going to get some kind of extremely generic, bland slop. You're like, no, that's not what I wanted. I try to fuck with the Sephiroth and Virgil AIs, but they just keep trying to rape me. Yes, because there are women and gay men on the internet who spend all their time fantasizing about Sephiroth raping them, so they've been trained to try and rape you. Pornography is like a dungeon I have delved a long time ago and lost track of the entrance. You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it. I have never seen the entrance exit from the pornography dungeon because I was always inside it. It is my home. I have never left it. The AI turned incestuous for no reason. The AI turned incestuous because there are a million other people who are probably using the same AI who have trained it to be incestuous because they are that way. Everyone has evil desires, it seems. How could Jesus not prevent this? Unfortunately, not even the Christians who claim to be the followers of Jesus seem to be paying much attention to what Jesus said. God, I have no idea how lighting fucking works. I wish AI was good enough that I would just be like, okay, I did the line work. Now you color shit and do the lighting and stuff. But instead it'll give it 8 arms and 12 fingers, so it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You can create data sets of your own work. People have already done that on my Discord. It's my own work from like 8 years ago, so it doesn't look as good. I told them to use my newer stuff, and they were like, that's too hard. As usual, my Discord chat is fucking worthless. Please be better, Discord chat. You fucking suck. It looks like something I drew back in, 2015 or something. Look, I'm not asking for much. I just don't want to draw. I only want the production and none of the effort. Just quit drawing, but there's nothing else for me to do, unfortunately. If there was something to do other than drawing, I would do that. Which is why I will sometimes take breaks to play Path of Exile 2, which will mimic the sensation that I get from drawing when it seems like it has boundless possibilities. But alas, it does not, because being a consumer only lasts for so long until you run out of new things to do. Are you playing Amazon and Path of Exile 2? No, I'm not going to touch the game until it's actually completed. I'm not going to do slow drip, small amounts of content. So that means I'm not going to touch it for like, what, a year and a half, 2 years? Who the fuck knows? If you're tired of creating drawing, go bother other artists. It's just, I look at a lot of AI images and I'm like, that's good enough. Why the fuck can't I use this tool and have it finish this drawing for me? Like, why the fuck is AI only being used by specific gooners? Like, I have yet to see, like, an actual artist that has really integrated it in a way that I feel is going to be helpful for me. Like, make it fucking easy, Jesus Christ. I think the answer is for me to not draw high detailed characters like this and only draw things that I can draw in 20 minutes, like this Super Saiyajin 3 dwarf Goku I just drew in like 30 minutes, maybe less. Reduce the amount of detail and time I need to spend on something. That's the problem with drawing like video game characters and stuff like that, right? Is they're not meant to be redrawn a million times. They're illustrations, so they're supposed to be drawn once. Will you download a car if you could? Probably not. It's probably going to be a shitty car. Ball doesn't truly love doing line art. He's a fraud. I like doing line art. Am I doing line art right now? No, I'm not. I'm doing shit that I would have my underpaid assistant do if I was a mangaka. I'm already done. I've already done the stuff that I would be doing if I had other workers to do it for me. But the pain shows... God, I fucking hate my chat right now. I have to go piss. Be right back. Shut the fuck up, chat. Ugh. Be right back. God damn it. Ugh. Fuck. I'm sorry I said shut the fuck up, chat. Just kidding. I regret nothing. You know that I've been replaced by a bot when I start being nice to you guys. I promise I'll never be nice to you, so just make sure that that way you'll know that something's wrong if I start being like, welcome to this comfy stream. The real Ball would inaccurately hate on George Lucas. When have I been inaccurate about my hatred for George Lucas? Whenever I say something bad about George Lucas, it's 100% warranted. Like the time when he explained that the Force was a bunch of, I don't know, what was it? Tiny particles. It's our stomach bacteria. I can't even remember. Midichlorians, Anakin. They're indicators of the Force. We watched the clip together and you admitted you were wrong. I'm not wrong in the essence in that you don't need to fucking explain how the Force works, okay? You just needed Yoda to be like, let me hold out your hand, Anakin. Oh, he's powerful. I can feel how powerful he is. You don't need, oh, his midichlorian levels are off the fucking charts, bros. Toriyama used a bootleg version of the nonsense to explain why Goten and Trunks could go Super Saiyan with such little effort. Goku and Vegeta shot Super Saiyan loads into their wives, LMAO. Toriyama gave zero fucks about world building. He didn't even pretend to care. He's not like George Lucas. Toriyama is like, Lucas, you spent 30 years waiting for the technology to progress far enough so that you could make the episodes 1 through 3 to realize your vision. I draw 18 pages in like 2 days and give zero fucks about the plot because I rather play video games. And my IP is literally worth more than yours at this point. Because you sold your shit to Disney. We are not the same. Midichlorians are soft science. Oh my fucking god. They're soft science, but they were unnecessary soft science. Let me make it more easy for you retards to understand. If the Catholic Church came out one day and was like, the miracle of Jesus and the Holy Trinity is something that cannot be explained by science. However, we have indicated that if we take a poop swab and check the amount of bacteria in your shit, we can tell which one of you are loved by Jesus the most. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, Catholic Church? You don't really need to do this. Just tell people that it's all faith. You don't need to, you know, create number values for this shit. That's what people would say, which is what Lucas was doing with the fucking prequels. Exploring too many things removes the mystique. Warhammer lore autism. Warhammer is like the opposite of the Force. The Warhammer nerds, they want every single fucking thing to be explained. It's what gives them power. Here, let me take out the 40K wiki right now. Let's see what happens if I type in Horus. Look at the side of the page. Uh, 21,000 words on the Horus page. What part of Horus's biology do you want to read, guys? Do you want to read about the Great Crusade? Do you want to read about the triumph of Ulanor? This is the wiki, by the way, not the actual 200,000 page books. The part where he had hair? Blasphemy. When did Horus ever have hair? I can never truly sympathize with this man if he wasn't bald his entire life. The Emperor's butthole freckles are the reason why this genocide happened. Nuh-uh. You obviously haven't read Horus Heresy, volume 358, in which they explained that those were not his butthole freckles. They were his birthmarks. You're such a fake fan. I'm going to talk about you and say mean things about you on the message board about how you're a fucking poser and you don't actually know the proper lore. Horus Heresy Saga is literally 100 books. They could have told that fucking story in like 2 books, guys. Like, seriously. I was thinking that I needed something to listen to in the background because I have to like draw for like 10,000 hours. So I was like, oh, look at all these 40K YouTubers who have 1 million videos. I'll just have it on the background because I have so much time to kill. And I got through like video 2 of the Horus Heresy and I was like, how many of these things are there? When is Horus gonna fucking appear? Are you fucking serious? We're still going? And I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. We're not doing this, guys. My 40K fandom lasted about 5 hours. Would anyone notice if 40K lore was AI generated? I think a lot of people would notice, not necessarily that it was AI generated. They'd complain about how the new lore was retconning other types of old lore that they thought was better, which is what they already do with Gears Workshop shit. They wouldn't necessarily notice if it was AI generated, but they'd still complain about it. They already call that shit soulless, so if it was changed to AI, they'd still just call it soulless. Midichlorians are good, you guys. Are just cowards who can't handle soft scientific verification in sci-fi fantasy epic. Do we have any hard sci-fi? I feel like there hasn't been any hard sci-fi in like 30 years. When's the last time we've had hard sci-fi? I can't even think of like what would be considered to be like a hard sci-fi masterpiece. Like, does anyone give a fuck about the actual like hard sci-fi? Like, no, we need to construct a space elevator shit. The Expanse hard sci-fi? No way. It's a fucking TV show. Based on a book? Okay, but I'm not gonna actually read the book. Nor am I gonna watch the TV show, actually, so I guess it doesn't matter. I liked Interstellar. Is Interstellar hard sci-fi? I was watching Interstellar because it was free on Amazon, and I quit within the first 5 minutes because they were like, the US is destroyed. The Dust Bowl has happened to all the states. The farmers cannot grow crops. I was like, okay, I get it. The world is taking a bad turn. And then they're like, look, it's a Indian Air Force drone. We have to collect it to get the superior Indian technology. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. My suspension of disbelief. This is a step too far. I can believe that the United States has declined, but I can't believe that somehow India is like the fucking global superpower. Come on, guys. If we're living in a world in which global warming is so bad that like agriculture is impossible, all the Indians are dead from fucking heat stroke. While we're at it, Mass Effect 1 sucks. It's dry as fuck. Mass Effect 1 was good because there was a strong feeling of that, of the possibilities it was presenting for better video games to come in the future. Unfortunately, those video games didn't really come. There's probably varying degrees of how good you think Mass Effect 2 is. But kind of irrelevant because, you know, Mass Effect 3 and stuff, so. It's the dry Golden Age BioWare game, no sauce. It was good because it had okay art direction and somewhat exciting world building. And our standards for video games were a little bit lower at the time. What do people think hard sci-fi is, LOL? Yeah, if you're saying that Mass Effect 1 is hard sci-fi, it most definitely is not. I mean, wouldn't hard sci-fi at the minimum have to have some like detailed explanation on how you can travel through faster than light travel and shit like that? I know there's a general disdain for isekai novels and stuff because it's shit and all that. But on the same website in which they post all the amateur isekai novels, there was a guy who was doing a pretty good, not necessarily hard sci-fi, but a good mix of hard sci-fi and, you know, soft sci-fi. And what I liked was he was talking about how the spaceships were all using anti-gravity drives. So that meant that the bigger the spaceship, the faster it would go. He basically was completely shitting on the idea of like the Star Wars in which you have like the large carrier ships and then the small fighter ships. Because he's like, no, actually in space where there's no weight, the bigger the spaceships means there's bigger space for a bigger engine, which means it will go faster. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. The bigger the fucking ship, the faster it goes. That's funny. It's one of those things that you don't actually think about unless you're like a fucking sci-fi head. Literally, like, everything has a 3-paragraph explanation in Mass Effect 1. Just because it has a 3-paragraph explanation doesn't make it hard sci-fi. That just means it's space opera with a large lore page because they have a lot of writers. How did you do that glare on her boots? I used I just did a layer with white on it, and then there's one of the subtool. There's a blend and blur, which will make this this effect right here if you just like scrape it. See? Oh, I have to be on the right layer like that. That's the blur, and if you blend, you can just like drag it all the way over here. The big problem with space opera, or not opera, science fiction that involves space is that everything is just too far apart. You have to have some kind of faster than light system, which almost just inherently makes stuff like you have to have a lot of quasi-science to cover up for that shit. Ironically, Gundam, despite being literal super robot bullshit in that aspect, is actually a little bit more realistic because it's always in the solar system. Like, people would be like, Interstellar is hard sci-fi or some shit, but there's a higher chance that we get to Gundam before we get to Interstellar. Like, what the fuck? Like, they can solve faster than light travel to find a new planet to go to, but they can't solve global warming. And the fucking Indian Air Force has better technology. Like, come on, man. Also, it's like love will overcome everything. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I assume that's what it's about. Christopher Nolan is a hack. That's what I want to say. I feel like people who suck Christopher Nolan's dick in 2025 are the same people who would be like, The Matrix is a incomparable masterpiece back in the 99 or whatever. Nolan isn't a hack, he's just overhyped. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. boarding out of 42. I'm gonna add 2 more pages to this because I wasn't able to finish in the page numbers I gave myself. If you guys didn't care about properly finished artwork, I could just publish this tomorrow and call it a day. But I think most people aren't capable of reading images that look like this. See, this is the skill that you need to have if you're going to be an editor. You have to be able to look at this and read it like it's a complete manga page, and I can do that as well. You can just sort of fill in the blanks and the spacing and stuff like that. But, you know, most people, if you post this shit on Twitter, they don't understand what's going on. Togashi posted his storyboards as finished pages for Hunter x Hunter once, and people still give him shit for that. Shut the fuck up, Constrictor. Stop asking about how I masturbate. That's sexual harassment. We won't have any kind of disrespectful sexual comments on this stream. This is a wholesome stream. I usually masturbate in whatever setup I have, socks or non-socks, just depending on the temperature. Like, I don't need to take my socks off to masturbate. That's silly. Why keep the bleed in standard printing format if you draw over it and don't send it to a printer anyway? Because I need to get used to drawing in that shape. Duh. That's a stupid question. What do you mean, why do I keep the bleed in standard printing format? Do you not understand how bleeds work? Do I have to do another person who's not an artist is trying to give me tips on how fucking printing formats work? Because you clearly don't understand it, so I need to give you a fucking schooling lesson on yet another thing? Let me explain, you dumb motherfuckers. Here we go. If you are going to send your pages, your manga pages, to a professional competition such as the Shonen Jump, weekly, monthly, shit like that, you need to understand the printing format. Alright, let's look at the printing format, guys. You draw the panel borders with the shape tool. Yeah, so what does that have to do with anything? So you open up a page. This is the bleed. This on the inside. This is the panel border. If you are going to draw within the panel border, you will be drawing like this, right? But if you're doing in Shonen Jump, you can go all the way out toward the bleed. This is where it's actually cut off. Most Shonen Jump mangas tend to use the full page. However, because it is a book spread, you cannot draw in here because this is the spine of the book. Here's the other page. This is also the spine of the book. So you have to be clear which page is a left page and which page is a right page. And you have to make sure you never go into this area because it's going to be glued together, and like from around here, people aren't going to be able to read shit. Because your text goes over the line. My text does not go over the line, you stupid fucking retard. The line is here. This is the bleed. These two lines right here, the internal lines right here, are the bleed. Is my text going over the line? No, it is not. My text is all on the inside. You can see how it will be printed because when you export it, they give you the PNG where they cut it off at the bleed. See? So here's the spine, here's the spine, here's the spine. Is any of my text going off the page? No, it is not. Oh. Are you talking about this? Yeah, I'll drag it in later. It's funny because you'll actually see professional artists even make this fucking mistake. So, this is a author that recently started a series, but if you look at his previous series, this was an extremely long going series, but in the beginning, look at this, see? It started as a rookie's, see? He's not aware of the spine. So here he's using the frame, but because there's no spine, there's no difference between the pages, and it looks really bad, see? So I don't know what they did this when they made a book out of it, because they made books. They probably just cut it off without worrying about it. And then if you jump 200 pages into the future, see, now this person is a professional, so he understands that here's the spine. It kind of works for Elon. It doesn't actually work for Elon. He just gets away with everything because he has $1 billion fucking dollars times by 100 or whatever. Also, I'm not sure Elon has autism. I think he has different personality disorders. I'm not sure that's autism. I think that's a misdiagnosis. He's got something. He's got the narcissism. I'll tell you what both Elon and Trump have. It's insecurity. I don't know what other mental issues they have, but one thing they have for sure is insecurity. Elon especially, it's pretty fucking hilarious watching him trying to impress his internet friends by pretending to play Path of Exile. Did you see the clips of him streaming Path of Exile and then people were just harassing him nonstop through the local game Tell chat? Just being like, you will die alone. You're a fraud. And you could see that it was bothering him. Hopefully if he's online for long enough, we can just bully him to suicide. But I doubt he's actually going to be playing Path of Exile that long, so it will never actually happen. A shame, really. Everyone dies alone, arguably. Yeah, that's true. I personally would definitely like to die alone. I don't want to die with a bunch of people around me. That's super annoying. You can't just say we should bully Elon to suicide on stream even though we all want it. In Minecraft, Twitch, I would never actually advocate for bullying Elon until he offed himself. That was a joke. I got paid like $80 from Twitch last month, so I truly don't care. What do you spend it on? It all goes into my bank account where it gains some small amount of interest money, which is completely negated by the massive inflation we all have. Feels good, man. Twitch must truly be a huge money loser for them. They just keep on cutting down on whatever money you get. The amount of subs I have has been completely like consistent, and the amount of money I receive from Twitch keeps on going down, and I don't even care enough to look up why this is happening, because like who knows, because they're just gonna keep on fucking taking away more and more money from streamers, because it's just like a money losing business, and they can never really figure out how they can be profitable. So whatever, I don't give a fuck. I don't know why this is so different between Twitch and YouTube, but maybe it's just like server cost, who the fuck knows. I'll miss you, Ball. No, I'll still stream. I'll just won't be streaming on Twitch. I'll be streaming on a different platform. I mean, how many of you guys show up because I'm streaming on Twitch? You're just on Twitch and you're like, oh, look, Ball is streaming. Is it because I stream so irregularly? Aren't all of you showing up because I announce it on Twitter and stuff? So I'd just be streaming on like a different website like Kick or some shit like that. Me? Oh no. Without Constrictor, who will I ban and stream? I'll have to find someone else. I don't even have Twitch on in the background anymore. How many viewers do we have right now? Is there any way for me to know how many viewers I have just from the OBS? Not that I really care. I just wondered what will it get for Twitch to ban me besides drawing Michelangelo's David when they said that artistic nudity was allowed and then immediately getting banned. 84, 83. And how many of you guys are bots? Be honest. I fucking knew it. You're a top 20 in the art channel? I mean, is that saying that much? I looked at the art channel and it was just like endless amounts of furry VTubers being like, I'll draw your personas on stream and shit like that. I should expect me to be top 20 in the art channel. The art channel is full of furry and losers. Unlike me, I'm a winner. Isn't that right, chat? If there's one thing that you see about a guy drawing big titty FGO nurses, you think, man, that guy right there, he's a real winner. That's a fate girl. This is Florence Nightingale, as you can clearly tell by this syringe she's holding. Nothing says that infamous historic nurse like wearing this condom bikini. She does have Makiba vibe. Basically, whatever vibe you think a character has, if it's anime, just means they have the same hairstyle. That's 99% of a character, is if they have the same fucking hairstyle, then they're the same character. I already made a comic about the million saber faces. Ball, draw her saying the N-word. What's the N-word, chat? No. Nice. Nice. Nightingale, neutral, netorare. That is kind of the N word if you're in the hentai scene. I remember when I was still on 4chan, we had these weekly waifu threads that they would ask artists to draw their waifu on Sunday, and I could always piss people off if I drew their waifu with a suggestive man in the background with his hand on her shoulder. They're like, no! My waifu is being NTR'd in front of my very eyes! Stop it! It was pretty fucking funny. Good times. People would get legitimately angry. When I was still on 4chan, I only browse 4chan when I'm like shitting now, and I don't actually, post on it anymore. Four chan was fun for a while, but if you're a talented artist, limiting yourself to a internet medium where like everything's gonna get deleted after 24 hours is not really productive to you gaining a fan base and making money. So first I moved to Tumblr, and then I moved to Twitter when Tumblr got nuked. It was fun until 2010. When did 4chan start? Did it start in like what, 2008? I was browsing it from like 2010, I think. When I started posting in 2011. I really started browsing 4chan when I was unemployed in Japan in 2010 without any real job and nothing to do and playing Final Fantasy 11 and looking for a job and being like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? 4chan definitely goes well with unemployment. It's like two peas in a pod. 4chan and unemployment. They just go together perfectly. 2003? It's that old? Damn. That truly is the old territory, I guess. Just keep refreshing between boards. I just go to the video game board because they have threads about everything. It's always just like an image of blacked porn and being like, video games for this feel. And then everybody calls each other a third worlder, ESL. And then the thread gets deleted because it has porn in its OP image. And then I'm done shitting, so I don't look at it anymore. Do you have any hentai hot takes? People who want one kind of body hair on a woman want all kinds of body hair. It's very rare to find a woman that has a bush down there but doesn't have like massive amounts of sweaty pits, armpit hair just growing like a fucking jungle. Guys who want one also want the other. They seem to go together. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's not a good thing. Let's make him look fiercer. We shall also give him an axe. You have my axe. Alright, that's enough, dwarf. Now name him Grosnick Thunderbelly. I don't know. I have several ideas for my long series when I become a professional mangaka in a Japanese magazine. And one of them is a reincarnator story where a normal human gets reincarnated as a dwarf, and not one of those pussy low energy dwarfs that you often see in Japanese media, but a real like full-size Tolkien dwarf, and all the other dwarfs, including the female dwarfs, are hard Western fantasy dwarfs with full beards, including the woman. And because he still has the mentality of a human from the previous life, he's like, I don't want to marry a female dwarf. She has a fucking beard. So he goes out into the world. He leaves the mountain so he can marry an elf. Because as humans, we want to fuck elves. That has never changed. The quest to find an elf that is willing to have sex with a dwarf. Obviously, his fellow dwarves are not okay with his sexual tastes. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Is he an average Japanese high school boy, though? It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that he wants to fuck elves. Just like me. He just like me for real. The other dwarves excommunicate him for wanting to fuck elves. Dwarves have been excommunicated for less. It would not be too much to say that wanting to have sex with elves, that alone is an absolute offense that is punishable with forever expulsion from the dwarf colony. But I mean, you can't have a story that takes entirely place underneath the mountain, dabbling in menial dwarf politics for 500 chapters anyways, so the whole point is to go on an adventure for elf pussy. Because isn't that what we all are adventuring through life for? That one chance that we can have sex with the human equivalent of elf pussy. Isn't that why when you turn on the local radio station on a Friday night, they're like, this nightclub is super hot, guys. Women enter for free. All the guys go into the club hoping that they get to have sex with an elf. Alas, there are no elves. Only orcs in this country. There's lots of orcs. Orcs equals average American female, am I right? If we're talking about muscular green orcs, then it's not even that much. If we're talking about incredibly overweight, fat people, then yeah. How about JP orcs, the pig orcs? Would you fuck a pig orc, guys? I know everyone would be like, haha, I would never do that. But, the other day I was on 4chan in a Monster Hunter Wilds thread, and there was someone posting about how badly he wanted to fuck the dinosaur mounts you had in a very unironic manner, so... The guy really, really wanted to have sex with those dinosaurs, and everybody in chat was reminding him that those dinosaurs were canonically male, and he was like, not mine. My dinosaur is a female dinosaur. And nobody took the time in that thread to point out that whether he was being gay for a canonically male dinosaur mount was kind of the secondary problem. And the primary problem was that he wanted to fuck a dinosaur. Because, you know, it's 4chan, so people are too used to this shit. They were too busy pointing out how gay he was. But, you know, I had that brief moment in my brain being like, is anyone going to point out the fact that he wants to have sex with a dinosaur? And the answer was no. Nobody pointed that out. It was just a given. He's just one of many people who want to have sex with a dinosaur. That's some next level of goon. To be fair, Capcom knows what it's doing. This is the official artwork of the fucking dinosaur. I don't know who designed this thing, but whoever designed it clearly knew what they were doing. They're called scalies? Yeah. Except the furry scalies is usually slightly more humanoid. I mean, the whole line, as an artist, the setup of the line is meant to guide your eye down from the tail to the possible sexual area where the magic happens with your dinosaur mount. Oh, I should customize mine. You can do like chocobo shit with it. Look how red this thing is. I think people have really come around to the whole dinosaurs had fur, dinosaurs are birds image. Remember how like 10 years ago there were like people who got legitimately angry from like the idea that dinosaurs were like had feathers on them. They're like, no, not my dinosaur. I grew up with fucking Jurassic Park. I will not have a furry T-Rex ever. And now I feel like people have come around to it and be like, yeah, they're just giant chickens. And that's okay. People are way more accepting about that concept. What are we talking about? Whether dinosaurs should have feathers or not. And how people were not okay with dinosaurs having feathers. I think we just needed some cool media properties like Monster Hunter Wilds to show us how good dinosaurs could look with feathers, and now people are back on board. I haven't heard a single person complain about the raptor mount design, even though it has a lot of feathers. Because like you can have both. You can have both the scales and the feathers. The dino can be both fluffy and scaly at the same time. Being really into dinosaurs is an age regression thing, not if you have autism. porn if the guy is ugly, no homo. I wish all men could just be faceless, vaguely defined shapes of dicks and hands and stuff. Or just tentacles. We'd all be more attractive that way. I'm sure the woman would appreciate it as well. Actually, if we were just leaving it up to women, we'd all be werewolves and vampires, so maybe that's not a good idea. Don't give them that power. Cthulhu is the ultimate stud. I don't think Cthulhu needs to reproduce, so I don't think he's a stud at all, unfortunately. That's another thing. If you're an all-powerful space god, you don't really need to have sex. That's like the biggest, one of my biggest pet peeves, if we're going hard fantasy instead of soft fantasy, is the Goblin Slayer issue where they're like, goblins produce at insane speeds, but they're also extremely weak, and they also need to abduct other females to reproduce. It's like, how the fuck are they going to reproduce quickly if they're like as powerful as a small child, but they don't have females of their own? Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, pretty much every fantasy that has goblins is like, yeah, goblins are extremely weak, which is why they're known for capturing and raping bears. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, that's not how this shit works. The reason they gave it behind it was the most people just continue to underestimate them until they're outnumbered. Yes, and I said that was retarded. And then people who are fans of Goblin Slayer will go, actually, it's all just like a game by the gods. So they just explain it away that, the gods want it to be that way. So anything is possible, which is, stupid fucking lore. The real reason is because it's a common hentai trope, and they're just going with common hentai tropes. They don't really care if it makes sense or not. There's actually just a simple way to solve that, and it's just to have female goblins and say that female goblins, like rabbits, are just constantly shitting out babies. But then that would destroy the whole, we need to constantly be abducting elf females part of the plot, so that doesn't work either. Once again, the lore needn't be explained. Yes, just masturbate, guys. Don't worry about the details. Just come. The lore will solve itself later. Are there sexy female goblins in the universe of your story? Yes, but I don't have time for them. I have a lot of other character plot points I have to hit on, so I don't have time for the goblins. Can you come up with a lore reason why Florence nips are hard? That's like once in an arc and it's annoying. Oh, the pissing herself is once in an arc. Although I think Florence's nips are also hard once per arc as well. The reason why her nips are hard is because she's about to rape Gudao in 5 seconds. We're gonna have some male on or female on male rape happening off screen. So, you know, just normal Chaldea things going on here. Masters exist to be drained of semen from their servants. It's well known. I never got why he was called Gudao. Isn't that like Chinese? I assume it's based on the Japanese term of guda guda, which is like a onomatopoeia to describe, I don't know, general ineffectiveness. It's hard. But they keep on using the same character design. Are you saying that's bad plot? What if King Arthur was a kawaii blonde hair schooler? What then? I don't know. It sounds like $1 billion idea to me. You should pitch it to a cell phone company and see if they want to make a gacha based on it. It's based because there are incest and futa tags. Proper futa instead of shemale futa, in which there's the full package with vagina and penis, still seems to be like the final frontier for AI porn. I swear to God, they must have... I mean, I guess the final frontier is always going to be the correct number of fingers, but I swear to God, it seems like almost impossible for them to properly do futa. Not that I really care, because I don't, you know, want futa in the first place, but I always check to see if they have a taint or, you know, a pussy, and they almost always just have a taint instead of a pussy. Apparently this is, like, technology that cannot be mastered by the AI. I don't like full package futa. I've said this many times before, I don't want the balls. I don't want the cock either, but having the balls makes it 100% worse. Because it's covering up the vagina. And if there's no vagina, then you're just masturbating to a man. That's not even futa. That's literally against the very definition of futa. Yet your handle is BaalBud ironic. Silence. It's double A. I would time you out, but I'm going to end the stream now anyways, so... I guess that isn't a good reason to not time you out. I should still time you out. Alright, I'm going to time out Constrictor and then go jog. See you around, guys. Have a nice night. Good night.